everyone. I hope you're having a good day. We are going to be studying for a little bit. I'm going to try to do this for my whole session instead of just typing. We are here, and I'm going to head to the library. Oops. If I remember where that is. Oh. Before I do that, I'm going to make a checklist. Oops. Ah. I still have the same things to do today. Typing, the whole shebang. Unfortunately, I can't do the reading out loud because, well, you just can't. So, we have that, and we're going to go focus. And change my screen mode to this. And for typing, I'm going to do, instead of 45 minutes, I'm going to do 30 minutes. And then short break, 5 minutes, long break, 10 minutes. I don't usually do more than 30 minutes of typing because, well, you know. There's that. Open up the book.
Yeah.
Continuing here. The only sad thing about this.
Delete Precise Yellow Dams. He hasn't been on for 19 days.
Cool.
Okay, who? Yellow
Right.
Dams.
well, that is that, everybody. Alright, so this is working. Alright, I'm going to press the timer, and I will see you on the flip side. happened to my to-do list? Oh, there it is. It's done. Now we're doing language arts. Come over here.
Yankee, why are you going on a different chair?
Okay, go over there. We consider our company and especially employees to be the best. We want to keep it that way. For that reason, we carefully review each resume that is sent to us. Here's a different side. We ensure that our company and the new employee we hire is a perfect match. This process, of course, takes time. We want to assure you that your resume is part of this process and will be reviewed. If we feel we have an opening that matches your qualifications, we will contact you. If you have not heard from us within 10 business days of the postmark of this notice, be assured that we will keep your resume file for 1 year. If a job applicant has not heard from this company for 3 weeks after reading this notice, what can she conclude? The review process is taking longer than expected. She did not get the job. It would be
free.
to
I sent it to you. It's in demo right now. We can play it right now, but I don't know if it's
for
free.
1 year review. So I had this problem. I end up reading way too fast, and then I draw conclusions, and that's a problem. It's my own issue. You know, it's the rush of taking tests and stuff like that. What I forgot to read was, be sure that we keep your resume on file for 1 year. For 1 year, that means that she will not be getting the job, did not get the job she applied for. The notice says the review process takes some time. It also says that the company will contact the applicant if it feels she matches the opening. If she doesn't hear from them within 10 business days, her resume will go on file. You can conclude that the review process takes about 10 business days, and if she hasn't been contacted in that time, she didn't get the job. What kind of notice can you conclude from this? A personal note to send the individual applicant, or a form notice sent to all applicants. I believe it is a form notice sent to all applicants. Again, you're correct if you chose number 2. The way that the notice is worded with no personal details lets you conclude this. You can also use your knowledge of the real world and business form letters to conclude that this too is a form. What conclusion can you draw about the company's attitude? It cares about its employees about job satisfaction. It cares only about profits and employee productivity. Perfect match. I mean, I would think it's about profits. You're correct if you chose... no, it's 1. I care about the employees and their job satisfaction. That was made simple here. Okay, I need to calm down. I need to stop going so fast. Okay. You're correct if you chose number 1. The fact that the company states only that it considers its employees to be the best, but also it takes the time to communicate sincerely the potential of employees lets you conclude that. So, this is a practice test right here. Okay. So we're going to do the practice test together. Excerpted from... Once there were 11 tadpoles in a glass globe set in the window full of plants. I remember the eagerness with which I made discoveries about them. It was a great fun. One day, a more ambitious fellow leaped beyond the edge of the bowl and fell on the floor. His tail. But no sooner he returned to his element and then darted to the bottom, swimming round and round in a joyous activity. He had made his leap. He had seen the great world and was content to stay in his pretty glass house under the big fuchsia tree until he attained the dignity of froghood. Then he went to live in the leafy pond at the end of the garden, where he made the Summer Night's Musical, quaint love song. I also learned from life itself at the beginning. It was my teacher who unfolded them. Full meaning, she has never since let people point out the beauty that is in everything, nor has she ceased trying to thought and action and example to make my life sweet and useful. It was my teacher's genius, her quick sympathy, a loving tact, which made my first years of my education so beautiful. From the story of my life by Helen Keller. So I'm going to reread this again because I went too fast. So I know that I'm streaming this. I'm really just talking to myself out loud. Okay, so we're going to read again. So she brings up the point about the tadpoles, but the tadpoles, not really that important to the information, but no sooner had he returned to the element, he darted to the bottom, swinging round and round in joyous activity. He had made his leap, had gone to see the big world. She's drawing a parable between the tadpole and the basically taking the leap. Under the big fuchsia tree in froghood. Then he went to live in the leafy pool at the end of the garden where he had made the Summer Night's Musical. Thus I learned from life itself at the beginning. I was only a little mass of possibilities. I'm going to underline that. It was my teacher who unfolded and developed them. When she came, everything about me breathed of love and joy and was full of meaning. She has never since let pass an opportunity to point out the beauty that is in everything, nor has she ceased trying in thought and action and example to make my life sweet and useful. It was my teacher's genius and her quick sympathy, her loving tact, which made the first years of my education so beautiful. Alright. Now in the small test, even in the small test, I get test anxiety. I don't know why. It is what it is. I'm trying my best here, y'all. There's my pencil. Okay. What can you conclude about the writer's view of learning? It is rewarding and one of life's joys. It is better with a strict teacher. It happens very slowly, if at all. It happens most often when you are alone. I would say A. What conclusion can you draw about the writer's character? Self-centered and demanding, confused and searching, fearful and shy, insightful and grateful. I'd say at first she was fearful and shy, if anyone knows the story of Helen Keller. If Helen's teacher was trying to teach her addition, what method would the teacher most likely use? think C. How are the thoughts of in this personal account organized? As a comparison with a frog followed by a contrast, as a problem followed by its solution, in chronological order and time sequence, an antidote followed by generalization based on the antidote. I think it is the comparison of the frog with a contrast. Later in her story, Helen compares a child's mind to a shallow brook, which ripples and dances merrily over the stony course of its education. Based on this information in the excerpt above, what is similar about the tadpole in a child? It's either D or B, but no, D or A. To see if I got them right. This is lesson 6. So now I have to move my marker. A, D, C, A, D. Oh. So I was wrong on the 4th question, which was as an antidote, followed by a generalization based on the antidote. The writer tells the story of the tadpole as an antidote and relates to her attitude toward life and learning. So I was wrong there. It's okay, I just have to review. That's all it is. So that is 4 out of 5. Which seems to be... So I usually read about... Oh, it's not done. Or is this not... Oh, this is a part of lesson 6. Okay, now we're going to generalization. Generalization. I'm going to switch out color for this one. You know, you think you have enough highlighters and then you realize you don't. A generalization is a broad statement about a group of people, objects, or things, or about a type of event. Usually it takes something that is true in one specific case and extends it to every possible case. For example, my hometown celebrated Independence Day with fireworks last summer. Is a fact about a specific 4th of July in a specific town. A generalization could be every Independence Day my hometown celebrates with fireworks. I need a second sticky note to go over the answers to the small quiz. Because I would like to see if I can get it first, but because my vision, I'm able to see the answer, which I don't like. Identify one statement with F for fact and the other with G for generalization. Okay. Every clerk in the store focuses on customer service more than any other aspect. Tina, the manager of the women's shoe department, helps customers select the right pair of shoes. One is a generalization and T is a fact. If you identified option 2 as being fact and option 1 as being a generalization, you were correct. One hint that 1 was a generalization is the word every. Words like all, never, and always show up in sentences that make broad, sweeping statements. The sentence about Tina, on the other hand, gives specific information about a specific person, and so it's not generalization. Key ideas. I'm going to highlight that because I'm going to make my notes later. Generalizations can be valid and true when properly made.
You're right, I do not want to.
A writer can support generalization with an example like Tina about information that shows why example represents a whole group. Often a generalization is too broad to apply to every group of people, every member of the group, and a good writer will acknowledge that there are exceptions. For example, in the passage, dogs are typically more attached to their owners than cats are, due in part to their evolution as pack animals. My dog will jump up to meet me as soon as I get home from work, while my cat will continue napping serenely till hunger motivates him to do otherwise. And I need my thing. One example given to support the generalization that dogs are typically more attached to their owners than cats. I would say number one, because the author mentions evolutions and dogs have evolved as pack animals. And am I right? Oh, I was wrong. The author's dog jumps up to meet her while the cat ignores her. What example? Oh, the example, not looking for the generalization. The example, the author's dog's attachment to her, illustrates and supports the generalization. Writers sometimes make a mistake of drawing faulty generalizations based on too little information. Imagine a person who bites into an apple, finds a worm, and concludes that all apples have worms in them. Since a generalization is a broad statement, a valid generalization requires broad knowledge to justify it. A generalization about American cities is more likely to be faulty if the writer bases it only on one city, but more likely to be valid if the writer supports it with knowledge of 20 cities. With a larger sample, the writer is also better and able to know whether to qualify generalization as something that is true in most, but not all, cases. So faulty generalization is FG and valid generalization is VG. Okay. So one says every breed of dog has 4 legs, so almost all dogs have 4 legs. 2 says some dogs bark at kids, so all dogs must dislike or fear children. The second one is a faulty generalization because it is based upon, it's non-factual. And yes, some dogs bark at kids, but does not lead to believe that all dogs dislike or fear children. Whereas the top one, the valid generalization, is every breed of dog has 4 legs, so almost, because without, it has to say almost because there are some dogs that don't have 4 legs, and some of them, not braining. Some of them, well, yeah, like I said. So, the top one is a valid generalization, the other one is faulty. Okay. Now I do the practice test of this, and take it slow. So I have to just read a op-ed. What's a generalization that can be made of paragraph 3? Impossible to reconcile a record cold temperature with the idea of getting warmer. A record cold temperature. It could be B or C. Global warming can only be valid if it is predicted. I think it's B, but it also could be C. I'm going to choose B. His only real evidence is that it was cold that day. Would put the author in a better position to make the generalization. D. Nationwide data tables of temperatures from the 1980s through today. Oh, I was wrong. It was C. And A was right. And D was correct. So C, the writer states that rising temperatures are quite simply not what's happening. So 2 out of 3. I think I have enough time for another one. So, word choice. Lesson 7. And then test tip. I always put a box around test tips and key ideas so that I don't forget them. One choice that writers make is to select words that have connotation. Connotation. Associated with a particular image or feeling. Think of the different connotations. A dog, mutt. A man's best friend. The word dog has a neutral connotation. It just describes the animal. To some, the word mutt would be a negative connotation, but the phrase man's best friend would have a positive connotation. Oh no. Alright, that's fine, that's fine. Alright, assign P for positive and negative for the following words to indicate the connotation that might be associated with them. 1, shack. 2, villa. Now, shacks are usually associated with negatively. Shacks are not put together well, usually. But villas are grand and open. So 2 is positive, 1 is negative. And I was right. Writers use figurative language. Figurative language. Now, do I know these things already? Yes, I do. Because, this is more of a, more like a brush up on the stuff that I know. Because I understand the concepts, I just don't know what they're called. So, figurative language to make their descriptions clearer and more vivid. They use similes, which use the words like or as to compare to things. His voice was like velvet, or his voice was. Oh, I'm trying to find another one. This indicates that his voice was smooth. Another type of figurative language is a metaphor, which implies a comparison between two things. Life as a journey is a metaphor. This compares the dissimilar things in order to describe life. A third figure of speech is personification. Metaphor, similes, metaphor, personification, by which a writer assigns human characteristics to something that is not human. For example, a writer might describe a storm as slashing at the windows and knocking on the door. Okay. Now I have to read a passage. Between Angola, South Atlantic Island. Place name like Coverless Cove indicate how rocky and uninviting Ascension Islands may appear. Even so, it is a dry subtropical weather, excellent sport fishing, and unique wildlife. This barren outpost attracts about 1,000 tourists each year. What does the personification in the third sentence suggest about Ascension Island? 1. Tourists are forbidden to visit the island. Or 2. The island doesn't look a good place to visit. I'm going to choose 2. You're correct if you chose 2, as if it were a person with an unfriendly appearance. Okay. Now we'll go through the practice test. Winter nights without turning on expensive central heating. In summer, though, there's no alternative to noisy fans and summer energy hogging air conditioners if you want to stay cool. It's a no. Contains a full tenth of a mile. An air-conditioned blanket does not sound really good. Like, I can just think about all the wrong things that are going to happen to it. It's electric as well. The cool porter. What is compared to a dream? The cool porter blanket. What could be a reason the writer used the word cuddles in paragraph 2? B. What word could the writer have used instead of chemical in paragraph 2? And which could have had a less negative annotation? Enclosed cooling fluid, cooling antifreeze, cooling water, cooling containment. No. I'd say cooling fluid because you can't say antifreeze because that's also negative, and water would be lying, so fluid. Which word in paragraph 3 means neutral but has a negative annotation? Oh, bland. Yeah. Why is like a regular household light bulb from paragraph 4 an effective use of comparison using figurative speech? It allows the consumer to compare the cold-furter's energy usage of that of a similar item. Hopefully we got all of these right. Will be since 7, and that's BACD. Wait. Guess I got one wrong. Why would antifreeze be a better, more positive thing? I mean, I guess it is. Antifreeze is a chemical. I mean, oh, I was right about that one. Wait. I was right. I missed it. Okay. So, cool for the blanket. And I was right about B. I'm so silly. Got to conclusions too quickly. Okay, stop it. Stop running into conclusions. Stop running into conclusions. Just press B, and that's it. Now, we definitely got this wrong. Because for some reason, antifreeze sounds better. No idea why.
Finley. Okay. So, have you seen the teaser trailers for Doomsday? That Marvel's be putting out.
Okay, never mind.
Okay.
I know one.
Alright, but Steve had a kid.
Alright, I was right. I ran into conclusions again. I need to calm down. I can calm down. I'm okay. I got this. It's just me and a stupid book. That's it. Okay. A writer usually has a certain attitude toward the subject he or she is writing about. The attitude is the tone of the piece. The tone is not directly stated, but you have to sense it by the writer's choice of words and manner of expression. I know intellectually that live theater is better than movies. Movie actors reshoot scenes until they are perfect. An actor on stage has one chance to get it right. It is immediate. The actors are breathing human beings in the same room with you. Theater provides the opportunity for strong emotions to surface right there in the moment. Seeing a play often envelops me in energy. But I've never gone so far as to cry at a theater performance until now. I cried because Denny Lohman reminded me of my father, of the brevity of our lives, of how easy it is to waste our lives. This was not an intellectual response. I suddenly heard that what this man on stage was saying. His life wasn't. It didn't matter if this play was written in 1940s. Mr. Dennehy stood on stage and roared at us about our lives now, and his hard-hitting and emotional drama. Which of the following best describe the tone of this piece? 1. Correct answer is 1. She also short-clipped the expressions, it is immediate, right there, in the moment. That by themselves create a sense of drama and awe. Point of view. Point of view, where the author is coming from. Where is the opinion coming from? It is the writer's background and experience that may affect her opinions. For example, when you read a column in a newspaper, you can usually tell whether the writer has two opposing sides of point of view, basically. What point does the writer of the review above have? That of a person who prefers sitting at home watching TV, or that of a enthusiastic theater goer? Well, clearly she's a theater goer because she talks about how she prefers theater over movies at home because actors are able to take multiple takes to make it perfect. You're correct if you chose number 2. Knowing this helps you evaluate the merits and reviews. Now I have a practice test. Now, this is a very interesting take. CBS delivered a television low mark called Big Brother, focusing on 10 fame-seeking people, pleasing hair-teasing losers while willing to submit to for surveillance by a nation of snoops for 3 months. It was so bad that it wasn't even good. Forget the camp reversals. It was so bad that even Jean-Paul Sartre would have yawned. Being in nothingness. Something good. Created by people with way too much time with their hands and way too much venom in their bite. Well, the reality series, clearly this person hates Big Brother. I don't blame him. I don't like him either. Sharing banality through cable cards and over the airwaves 6 nights a week. Constructing, eviscerating. Yes, that is a word I need to put in my words. And hours of primetime dross and turning it into a decadent, immoral, sharp electronic gold. You gotta love it, if only because it keeps razor-tongued fanatics and uncensored savants off the streets and out of trouble. Tyler Kling. You know what's crazy about this is that this book is a 2024 book, but yet they are bringing an article from the Boston Globe that is probably 2005. I think they're talking about internet writers. See. Which of the following best summarizes the reviewer's point about Big Brother? A. Show is boring. From whose point of view is this piece likely written? Good. So bad that it wasn't even good. I want to say C or A. Alright, so now I'm going to check my C, A, C. Listening. Two is A. 3 is A. And then 4 I chose C. And then 5 was C. Someone knowledgeable bugged me. I was leaning more towards that too. So I'll give it, got 4.5 right. Okay, that's good enough. I am gonna